time. This is amazing.
But yeah, can you play with your hair this time?
You guys seen me using all sorts of devices to show you the electric viewfinder, so you see exactly what I see. But this thing right here is the Shimbol Memory I Pro, and this thing takes the whole thing to another level. So, if you take a closer look, you know, it's not that cheap plastic made. First of all, it is super solid aluminum. It's not too big and not too small. It is just absolutely perfect. And not only it is really bright monitor, like Atomos, for example, it has only 1000 nits brightness. That for me would be a deal breaker, because with 2000 nits you see so well. It's also a recorder, which is super nice, because you know I always love to show you guys how I compose my shots and how I do things. So let's take a closer look. First of all, this is a Pro version. There's also a non-Pro version, which is actually half the price. And to compare those two versions, this one comes with 2 HDMI ports and also has SDI interface. If you don't care about SDI interface, feel free to get the non-Pro version. It's gonna save you a lot of money. What I have right here is the Pro version, and you know, it has on the top 2 function buttons, turn on button. Then on the side we have the HDMI in and HDMI out. I also have the audio jack port with the ability to listen when I'm recording, and a DC in port. So it actually is being fed by these batteries, these typical NPF 550 batteries. I can actually use quite a small battery, and it runs pretty smoothly for a pretty long time. So you don't need to add those big batteries, and you can keep the profile quite nice and slim. But if you have like the V-mount batteries and stuff like that, or you're in the studio, you can also plug in the DC charger. It also has the USB-C, and the best thing ever is that it has a SD card slot. So it actually comes already with the SD card slot. Let's take a look what we have here. This is the Kingston 64GB card, which is pretty nice. 64 gigabytes will give you plenty of recording time. So when it comes to the recording, basically it records only 1080p. So don't get confused because it says it's a 4K monitor. Yes, it takes the 4K footage out of your camera and it can display really nicely. The only problem, and that I think is the Sony's problem, is that you are not able to see anything on your main screen while you are recording, or just in general when you're seeing here, you don't see anything here. So like a touch function, touch focus and nothing like that will work on the Sony. And no matter which monitor I've tried, it's the same thing. And one more thing that I want to mention before we go to the downsides of this thing is the on-screen monitor features that help you record a lot better. So basically you know, first of all, the user interface is absolutely amazing. Usually you get that really laggy and kind of weird and outdated user interface, but here it's just super simple. You go to the settings and you can adjust absolutely anything from the brightness, recording, all the LUTs you can already install here. You have settings, function systems and whatnot. And then of course, you know, you can have the waveform on the screen, the histogram and you know, safe areas, colors, and there's a peaking and a zoom function. The zoom function is actually really cool because you can really zoom in and see if you are properly focusing. Basically, the functions are super rich and more or less like any other field monitor you would have, but just the interface is so nice and it's just pleasant to work with this thing. Yes, put your head. Turn it against the sun a little bit. Things that I don't like, I would say just two. One, it turns on quite slow. I think it takes almost 20 seconds to start working with this thing. It could have been better, but it is what it is. Second thing, the noise for the fan is a little bit noticeable. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe there is somewhere in the settings where I could fan mode. Okay, I'm stupid. There is a fan mode and it's on auto. I can have it off, low or high. Forget about it. Anyways, if it's on, this is how it sounds like. But obviously you can just turn it off and let it, you know, heat up a little bit, and then you cool it down after you're turning it off. So there's just only one downside over my side, which is that it takes almost 20 seconds to turn it on. Keep that in mind. Other than that, super bright screen, very well built quality, has the recording function of 1080p. Can't recommend enough. If you don't want those SDI ports, then check out the other version, the non-pro version, but I got the pro version and I love it. And let me know what you think about this. It's a pretty cool thing. I see you in the next video, guys. Cheers.